Everybody, hello, good afternoon. This is the final breakout session, if I'm correct, of this Fleet Europe Summit. So great to have you all here with us. I am joined here today by Jorge Fernandez. He's Global Category Manager Fleet at Roche. And of course, Jorge is also the incumbent Global Fleet Manager of the Year. So we are very, very excited that Jorge is willing to share some tips and tricks with us with regards to fleet and mobility efficiency. If you have questions for Jorge, please don't hesitate to use the chat box on your right-hand side. Just put your questions in there. And then after the session, after Jorge's presentation, we will have a short Q&A and we will answer most of the questions, or we'll try to answer most of the questions that you put in the box. Jorge, I hand over to you. Go ahead, and I'll be back here when your presentation is done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sven, and thank you everyone joining this session. I hope I will be able to provide some tips. Some of them may be interesting for you. Of course, not everything fits for every fleet. We have different fleets. There are different sizes, different types of vehicles, and so on. But there are some things that may be common and may be helpful. So, and then we will have some questions. So I will be glad to respond any question. I'll try to give you a good answer. My name, as Sven mentioned, Jorge Fernandez, working for Roche as Global Category Manager for Fleet. And well, we are managing a fleet of 14,000 passenger cars in Roche. Roche is a pharmaceutical company, one of the leading pharmaceutical companies, and we have the typical scheme in which the largest part of the fleet is in Europe, and with a great number of cars also in North America. We used to have the situation, or the starting point of the fleet strategy in Roche was, as in many other companies probably as well, was fragmented. We had company cars or strategies in Europe different to the strategies in the US, and some other countries having isolated local strategies. Our cars are also split between company cars and cars for sales reps as well. Depending on the region, this changes quite significantly depending on the region. And we also have some car allowances, although this is reduced and it's reducing. This is one of the aspects we are aiming in the last years. So as I just previously mentioned, we had a quite fragmented fleet approach, and we in the company, we thought it would be good to try to join forces and build a common approach, a common strategy with a clear framework for everyone to create synergies and create benefits for everyone, while keeping certain flexibility for specific aspects. So, for example, we have close-ended leasing in the majority of countries, while open-ended leasing in North America. So you have to you have to consider those differences. Then, when we learned that we had to work together between regions, between divisions, different divisions in the company, we started building the pillars of our strategy. These are the 6 key pillars we are using, which consist on having a leasing model. This is our priority, outsourcing to our preferred fleet management companies or leasing companies. We are also encouraging or promoting the lease option instead of buying, and also we are trying to reduce car allowances as well. Then a vendor consolidation strategy, the typical one. This is quite logical, especially if you are leveraging efforts with all the regions in your company, with all fleets in your company. That's quite logical. Of course, safety. This is key. This is compulsory. This is mandatory, and sustainability is a key pillar of our strategy as well as many others. So we are taking a key actions in there. Then analytics part, this is crucial as well. The treatment of data, you have to know your fleet, you have to know where you are moving in order to be able to forecast the next actions. Of course, we have more than 70 countries. We are supporting more than from global category management. We are in connection with more than 70 countries and more than 150 affiliates. So this means that we have to provide good learnings and guidance to this to our colleagues at local level. And of course, we need to engage the stakeholders. We have to be in connection with our stakeholders to understand their demand and also to offer them what they really need. So the idea was to create, and this is what the outcome was, to create a cross-divisional category management team to lead our transition to electric and connected, and with incorporating mobility solutions, which is going little by little, while and maximizing the value for our employees and meeting our principles. Some of the key achievements that we have been obtaining from this approach in the last few months and years, I have classified them in 4 big buckets. So one is the data analytics. So we built a global inventory, which was the first time that it was built. It was initially done in Excel, then in Google Sheets, then it was published as well, and we have now developed internally very good tools to automate and and deliver a very nice dashboard in Tableau. So we are even improving this action. Another big bucket is related to stakeholders. We created a Google site, an intranet, and we have been identified. And by doing this, we were identified as the single voice of for fleet in our company. Every stakeholder who had some ideas about fleet, they then understood who they should be contacting in order to get something relevant for fleet. And then processes. We had different processes in the past. As mentioned, we had a fragmented perspective, and we built processes that were able to cover all the circumstances in everywhere, in all regions. So this was very, very helpful. This is a key pillar if you want to run a global strategy, because otherwise you will be running local or regional strategies. So for example, the savings harmonization, the reporting of savings, this has been done and helped a lot. And we have even improved more by involving our preferred leasing companies in this process as well. And then from the commercial point of view, with the help of the processes harmonized and the help of the data and the analytics, we were able to identify where to negotiate better and where to build our global contracts. So we moved from local contracting, from local negotiations, to a global sourcing process, which delivered very good results in terms of supply, but also in terms of savings. Why not? So going more into the details of this, I have some slides, but I will go very quickly on these ones. This represents a little bit more detailed some of these outcomes. So, for example, the data, the analytics part, we built a very good dashboards, very good information that provide us automatic or immediate insights that we need, and we use this for the negotiations, for engaging stakeholders, wherever you can imagine. the Google site, we developed a very good Google site in which we created, or we fed with a lot of content to train our local fleet managers, but also to engage stakeholders and to let them publish in our website. Processes, as mentioned before, is a key pillar to engage and to drive your strategy. Otherwise, if you have different processes, it's really difficult. And then the commercial part, by doing this, by consolidating our negotiations, we were able to have a clear vision and to help countries to select the right partner in each country. So, for example, with car makers, we have now increased the use of our preferred car makers. We are eliminating or reducing the usage of other non-preferred ones, and same happens with leasing companies as well. At the same time, we also got a very good result in terms of reducing the purchase of cars and moving to leasing, and more concrete, to full operating leasing. So what's the next action here? Well, we need to evolve. So what I explained might be the right steps to manage the typical company car fleet, but we need to make evolutions now. The times have changed a lot. We have a new set of tools in the market. We have now this mobility concept as well, and we learned that we had to remove the car from the center of our strategy and put in the center of our strategy the driver, the user. This is what we need to, or this is our target and our goal when building our strategy, and take all the options we have in the market and use them, like mobility as a service, like battery electric vehicles, car sharing, all these aspects to deliver the best value for the employees, and the best value for the employees in whatever place, not only for Europe or not only for the US. And this is clear that it might be not implemented the same way everywhere. So for that, we need a clear guidance. We need a guideline, so to speak, or a policy, a clear one, a framework for everyone. We are promoting pilot projects because we are learning a lot of all these aspects, all these new components, and we have to learn. We are in the process of learning how they best fit in our strategy. So that's why we are also sharing the best practices that we are learning, and connecting with every country that is trying to do something. So then we have a global procurement team focused on taking the best from the negotiations we have with our preferred partners, and the fleet management companies in which we are involving in our strategy. We need them to bring innovation to our strategy and to our company, and ultimately to our company. So they represent a key pillar to really implement our ideas. Otherwise, it is much more difficult. Finally, what's coming now? With these times of uncertainty, everybody working from home and not meeting, well, to try. Here my recommendation is to be positive, and yeah, it's a challenge, and you have when you have challenge, you also have opportunities at the end. For me, here the key learning in this situation is to really take leadership within your organizations. The fleet management is part of what we are doing, and we are the ones who have the largest expertise, the best expertise in our companies to deliver. So it's time to take one step forward, and why not take some exposure and take decisions. Be brave, take decisions, and well, demonstrate within your company your capability and your skills to drive the change in these times of uncertainty. You may have some colleagues in your companies who are struggling to go forward. I think this is what we have to do now. go forward and demonstrate our leadership in here. And well, this is all. So Sven, when you wish, we can go back.
When you call me, I'm there, Jorge. Don't worry.
Good.
Hello. Thank you very much, Jorge. I think it was a very, very interesting presentation. I wrote down already a couple of questions from my side. Just for the audience, if you have questions, I saw a couple coming through, but if you have questions, please put them in the chat box on your right. Perhaps just starting, Jorge, I saw a couple of times in your presentation, indeed, the Global Fleet Council. That is something that you've set up really to manage the strategy as a group and really hold the strategy as a group throughout Roche. In that Global Fleet Council, are we only talking procurement, or are there also people from HR and finance, etc., involved? How does that work?
You are absolutely right. It's a good point. For the moment, it's people from procurement and from the local fleet management sides. We are connecting separately with other areas, but the ultimate goal is to make a global fleet council covering also finance and HR and EHS as well. So that's absolutely right. And for the moment, we are building those partnerships, those connections with those stakeholders, but we want them to involve them and build a proper cross-functional governance.
Yeah, I think that clear stakeholder management is important with any global policy, obviously. Just also when it comes to electrification. Again, this came across a couple of the slides. What are Roche's goals when it comes to EVs? Are there goals? What's the intention? Where do you expect Roche to be in 2025 when it comes to electrification?
Yes, for the moment, we don't have it defined, or well, we have it, but we cannot, it's not yet published, but we will have a very, very, very demanding goal on electrification. And that's what I can say for the moment. And what we are doing is we created a strategy for electrification based on 3 pillars, on segmenting the drivers, identifying the habits of driving of everyone, and also connecting with the car makers and with leasing companies to identify the best options, and also the cost. So the 3 pillars is segmentation, cost analysis. We built a very nice tool, I would say. Someday I can share with you if you wish. And then the third pillar is the commercial part. And for that one, we just launched an RFI that was closed on Monday. So
okay, all right, cool. Another question: if you're talking about a global strategy, so you've set a clear global strategy for Roche. How can I say it? How strict is such a strategy? Do you allow for, let's say, local deviance, local own rules here and there if it's needed, or how strict is effectively when it comes to supplier management, when it comes to product and services? How strict is that global strategy?
Well, yeah, I see your point. It's we want to keep it as mandatory, although we don't have that mandate. However, people obey because we built our reputation, let's say, and we built a very solid approach. So people try to do what we are saying, and it's quite strict because it is also quite flexible. So we are not working with one single fleet management company. We have a few ones. So within the framework of vendors, any affiliate can move within that framework. Regarding using non-preferred one, it can only be done exceptionally because none of our preferred vendors is present in the country, or same with car makers, exactly the same. If someone is telling us, hey, please approve this for me, I'm not approving. I'm saying it is your accountability. So strict, but strict because it is flexible at the same time.
Yes, because the strategy allows for that flexibility. So you're following a strict strategy, but the strategy allows for flexibility. I understand that. That's great. I saw a couple of questions coming in. you're reducing car allowances and moving more towards company cars. What is the reasoning behind that, Jorge?
We don't like the gray fleet for sustainability reasons, for safety reasons mainly, and also because we lose control of that. So that's the main one. Also for cost, everything is clearly pointing to company car.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Our good friend Steven Schus also asked a good question, I see. Talking about CSR targets, how do you, on a global level, deal with reducing emissions and managing the calculation of emissions across the globe? How do you manage that from your side, Jorge?
Good. So we built goals for 2021 and for 2025. We have now to build goals for 2030, which is what I mentioned before, and it will be more demanding. But for the moment, these goals we have in place for the moment are created per region. So we defined goals per region. And because of the change of the WLTP and NEDC and this difficulty to manage a single piece of or a single reference, we created goals instead of on CO2, we created based on fuel consumption, which is very similar at the end, or it is parallel, the evolution. So we have now goals based on or regionally set based on WLTP targets, and we also built NEDC targets just for the transition. We know that there are some countries that are already within WLTP, so they have to stick to the WLTP goals, and on other countries are working on NEDC, so they have to stick to the NEDC, which is at the end is a correlation, very very similar. The way we measure that is with the officially informed data from the car makers, and because we have learned in the last 12 years that when you improve your theoretical values, the real values, the real consumption values also go in parallel and also also go in the same direction. So that's the way we do it. So WLTP, NEDC, fuel consumption, and in the case of North America, well, in the case of US, instead of liters per 100 kilometers, we measure MPG, miles per gallon.
Yeah. All right, super. Thank you very much, Jorge. I think we have time for another question or two. One quick one, which is a question from Catherine. She saw on your last slide driver profiling. What exactly do you mean by that? Are you putting types of drivers in certain profiles and you try to match a strategy on that, or is that something else?
Yes, we are launching, we investigated in some countries by using surveys. We're investigating the habits of driving by our users. And we are allocating them in 4 big buckets. So those ones, depending on their habits and the kilometers they are driving every day, the mileage, and the vacation, during the vacation as well, we are allocating drivers in 4 buckets. One of them is the ones who should be driving electric cars now, the ones and then the second one with the ones that might be eligible very very closely, and the ones that are more or less not yet, and the ones that are really not eligible. So this is how we do it. We built at the beginning, we ran these surveys manually. We took the results, and we were able to build the parameters and create a toolkit that can be used by any affiliate, and they can run it by themselves using the Google Suite. You can launch surveys within Google. Then the results go immediately, automatically into a Google sheet, a spreadsheet, which is now populated with formulas created by my colleague Antia, one of the people in the team. And well, it's fantastic, because if you are working in affiliate, you just launch the surveys. The survey is made with all the questions are already made, and then the people responding the survey will, or the responses will be automatically loaded into a tool that automatically makes the classification and says, okay, this 20% should be going to electric, 25% wait for 1 more year, and these are the ones who shouldn't be electric. for the moment.
Okay, thank you. I have two more questions, and then I'm gonna let you go, Jorge. Now, one question is around data. Data is coming quite a lot above during the summit. Data is, of course, one of the important factors going further. I'm even gonna simplify it right now because, of course, you've got big data around connectivity of the vehicles, etc. But you also have the let's say the reporting data of your fleet. I can imagine with such a big fleet spread across so many countries, it's not easy to get a good overview of what your fleet looks like. Definitely not if you're working with multiple suppliers, probably because of needs across different countries. How do you manage that? How do you get a good view of your fleet and what's happening?
I really like this question because this is linked to the question you made before, how flexible our policy is. Well, we can manage the data because everybody's using our preferred leasing companies. We take the data from our preferred leasing companies, we download the data from them, we interface into a system we have that cleanses the data, puts the data into the same language, and then allocates in a dashboard that we developed internally. It is crucial that everybody's working with our preferred leasing companies so that we can have access to that data. We do it in a quarterly basis. This represents approximately 80% of our fleet. Then the other 20% is manually reported by those ones who still purchase cars and still work with local leasing vendors, which is the case of APAC. That's the most difficult region. Now, although we have an approach to APAC that we will someday we will deliver, but for the moment we have to capture the data from those ones manually.
We have a very nice summit coming up in APAC in January, so we're looking forward to hearing that.
Great. So we update data quarterly for those ones without making any effort by the local fleet manager doesn't make any effort. We do it globally from the headquarters. And those ones who are still using a non-preferred vendor, we have to bother them. They have to work manually, put their hands on the keyboard, and report manually the vehicles they have. And then everything is incorporated into our database, into our dashboard, our tool. That's another reason why people are moving to our preferred leasing companies, because we have a lot of support from them for this, for savings reporting, for many other things, and it's really attractive for fleet managers to follow the strategy.
I can imagine it's again a stimulus to force might not be the right word, but at least to stimulate countries to follow in the same direction.
It was very better to convince, really.
Yeah. I saw another question coming up, and I do find it interesting. Telematics, connectivity. Is that being used today with Roche, and what are the views on that for the future?
Difficult in our company. In the pharmaceutical sector is very difficult, especially in Europe. However, we are working in LATAM. We have telematics implemented in Chile and some other countries, and it's very well accepted by in these countries. In LATAM as well, instead of leasing, although we are promoting leasing in LATAM, we are growing significantly in that region. But they usually have this auto plan process in which, and then when the company offers the car to the employee, in exchange, we are asking them to allow telematics implementation in their cars. Okay. But yeah, not in the US and Canada and in Europe, not very well accepted, not easy.
No. And do you see that changing in the future, do you think? Okay.
Not for the moment, sincerely, not for the moment.
Okay. Then final question. You're the incumbent global fleet manager of the year. So I can imagine that winning the award last year was pleasant for you. You were very happy. Can you explain a little bit what it meant for you and how the last year has been and after winning the award?
it was very intense. So it was great. First of all, because you feel proud of the work of the team, everyone in the Global Fleet Council in Roche and in the category management team did a great work. I wanted to share with all of them. It's a great credit they deserve. From the personal side, I'm proud of it, of course, and it gave me as well the possibility to connect much more even. I was very, very well connected in the past, but after the award in this, it was much easier to connect with many people from many industries. And this is really amazing. I was this morning talking to a colleague who contacted me. We exchanged a little bit, and it was great because I'm learning a lot from everyone. I may be sharing some tips here, but all of you, all the ones in the audience, are able to deliver incredible tips, I am sure. So we need to support each other. And this is the key part of our profession, I think, to continue learning continuously, and we learn from each other. So this was great, and well, it opens many doors. So I encourage everyone to submit, to try to present their candidacy to these awards, because it also gives you an idea of where you are. If you are in the right direction or not. It's a unique opportunity to be assessed by a group of people from the fleet management industry, from car makers industry, consultancy people from telematics, other awarded fleet managers as well. It's incredible. It's very good to test your strategy and understand if you are doing right or if you need to change something. It's very good insights that you get.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you, Jorge. Thank you also for this presentation. I think it was very well received. Indeed, for this year, it might be a little bit too late to fill in your application for the award ceremony, because the award ceremony will start in approximately half an hour, if I'm correct. So that means we have another half an hour available for networking. Again, thank you very much, Jorge, and to all the participants. You can utilize on the left side of your screen the networking button to start talking to your peers, to Jorge or to others, but also to your suppliers. So thank you very much, and see you next time. Thank you, Jorge.
Thank you.